What is up, guys and gals? It's me, Thomas Fan01 here, and today we are back at it again, and that's right, football fans, we're back at it again, because y'all know we do love our football around here, because clearly that's what we're loving here. But anyways, today we are going to be taking a look at the Transformers crossover series for 2026. This is kind of a little bit lame, but okay. We're going to be taking a look at the crossover, NFL crossover series. Today we're going to be taking a look at Steelsmash. Now take note. The whole reason I picked this guy up was because he was on clearance. I have zero cares in the world for the Steelers. I have zero care in the world for football, really. I know people make money. I know it's a sport. I know how it's played. I watch the Super Bowl. That's about it. I don't really care to do anything else about NFL. So, anyways, we don't take a look at the figure first. We take a look at the packaging, and the packaging is actually quite kind of cool. It kind of gives off that retro vibe of the old 2007 packaging, if y'all remember what the 2007 movie packaging looked like. And I gotta say, I do like it. There's a nice little reminiscent of a football going on here, which is kind of neat. We got a nice background image of the Steelers there, and a football field on the 50-yard line. Shows their playbooks going down here. So, yeah, I think it's pretty cool. We got Steelers logo on the back, and this is what his whole deal is about here. Turns from robot into football helmet, and yes, this football does have a purpose, and yes, it is a thing. So, anyways, removing said packaging off to the side now, we can bring the figure in, and this is not what I was expecting Hasbro to do. I really was not. I was honestly half expecting them to maybe make a football. Maybe one of the mascots would turn into a football or something of that nature. I was not expecting this. However, this is warranted and is nice, so I can't complain about that entirely too much. Yeah, so I will say that the accessory that he does come with does store on him in his vehicle mode, I suppose you could say. And it is the little football here, and it is just a nice little cute football. And there is a little port right there on the inside of the chin strap, and there's a plug right there. There's a port right here on the ball. You just take that, and you just line it all up. And basically it just stores right on into the helmet. So there you go. And I gotta say, I don't hate this. I really don't. I just don't care. I just don't care that it's the Steelers. I don't care that it's a football helmet. I mean, it's cute that it's a football helmet, and I think it's adorable, but why we need this, I don't know. Anyways, let's get him into his scale comparisons, and then we shall transform him, then we shall rank him after we get into final thoughts, and then we shall end the video. So, here he is next to Blue Booster. Here he is next to Wingtail. Here he is next to Twin Mill, Hot Wheels crossover. Here he is next to Bone Shaker, who I also quite dig as well from the Hot Wheels collection. And here he is next to our previous crossover figure, which you can now actually acquire this at Walmart, but you're not going to get him for the less than $20 price tag. So here he is next to the N1 Starfighter, otherwise known as Mando. So alright, there you have all of that. So, next thing to do is, I guess, just get this guy into his robot mode. And to do that, you don't have to do this, but you can. You can remove the football. However, the first step is actually something kind of annoying, and I don't like this at all. The entire bottom half of this whole deal it's parts formed. So you're going to basically take off all the straps where the straps would normally be on a football helmet, and then you're going to pretty much unpeg this bottom section here and do the same thing on the other side. There we go. So that's what you're left with, and this is what you have to deal and work with. So they don't tell you to do anything with this, and the instructions are not very clear as to what you can do with this either. I'm not sure what the whole point of having this piece on here other than having it be a parts forming gimmick. I don't know. So, anyways, once you remove that, then we can start work on the rest of this. So, first thing you're going to do is you're going to pull these pieces out. You're going to you're just going to pull them out and flip them up just a little bit. So, pull them out, flip them up. And then the next thing you're going to do is kind of fun, but also kind of annoying. You're just going to kind of start untabbing things. Like there's panels and there's lines and stuff all over this guy. And the only thing I can really say to do is the best is to just kind of start untabbing things just to get them out of the way. So, yeah. Then you're going to come to these sections here at the front of the helmet. They're going to just rotate around in like that. And then these pieces here are going to rotate around. And they want you to have them doing something kind of like this, but it's also a little, it's a strange thing that they have going on with this, with the way that they have this. So it's like they want you to rotate these all the way around. I don't have a problem with that, but I don't understand the point. So, yeah. Once you do that, then you're going to kind of just loosen up the top bit here. If you can. It's a mess. These figures are nothing but messes. So, there. If you can lift it up and get everything unpanelized from it, then we can untab these pieces here. There we go. You want this all untabbed, but it's like really, really difficult. But until you get this section out here, there we go, that turns into the legs, it's really, really difficult. So I don't appreciate that, but it's also, again, not the worst thing. Come to the back piece of the helmet, and you're going to shift that up, and then you're going to take this, and you're going to rotate it all the way around like so. Fold the foot down. You can... Let's see, do we have... Yes, we will. We'll bring out our Shadow of Mordor bottle opener here and flip out the feet, because I do not have fingernails. So, no, excuse me, not Shadow of Mordor, Shadow of War. And then just straighten it all out like that on that hinge. And then do the same thing on the other side. Gonna just kind of untab this section here. Shift this all the way up. Rotate this all the way back. Fold this down. We'll bring in our bottle opener. And we are going to just pop that up. Fold this down, and that's how that's going to look so far. Then, once we take all of these pieces, bring them back down a bit, these are going to form the shoulders. Going to undo the arms, and you're just going to kind of rotate them around a little bit. And it's a bit of a strange thing here. And then flip out the hands that are inside there. So, like I said, this is a strange figure. Like, it is one of those figures that you don't know whether you're doing something right until you're almost done, or you're almost certainly positive you're doing it right, and then you get the notification of, you were doing it wrong the whole time. Anyways, you're going to take this section here, you're going to shift this all the way down, and then you're going to, if I can do this right, there we go, push the head all the way up, and then you're going to take the backpack, and it's just going to fold up into the back here, which will then secure the majority of the rest of it, and then take this piece and just complete the backpack, take the waist section, tab it back in. We're almost done, folks, I promise. And then take this section and just collapse it forward and straighten out the arms and everything that it goes with. We're not done quite yet. Remember that football we had earlier? I'm going to take this, and there are little ports on the insides of his hand, so you can have him holding the ball like so. And once we straighten him out, let's get this whole thing straightened out one more time. And there we have Steelsmash in his robot mode. And again, I don't hate this, but I also don't, love it at the same time. Like, it's one of those ones where you're just like, I love this, but don't love this. And we had everything zoomed out for the majority of it just to look at the packaging and get the transformation done. But, I mean, seriously, of all the things that you could have thought of for a crossover, Sport Day was what you chose? Take note, not saying that's a bad thing, but also not saying I love it. So, yeah. Anyways, one thing you may have seen in when we were trying to get the head up out of the area is that he does come with a football helmet, and it does collapse it does open up in two places. It comes up right here, and there is, I believe, a little section on the back of his head. No, kind of, where this plus sign is going to fit right into this little thin bit of a square of his head, and you're just going to kind of just pop that on, and it's going to loosely fit until you collapse it over his head. So it's a loose fit, but it does work. However, you can just rip it off if you feel like it. And this is what the face is looking like underneath, and truth be told, I kind of dig this and I don't hate it. But also at the same time, if you're going to war or you're going to play ball, you got to have your helmet. You can't not have that. So anyways, let's get this guy into scale comparisons, then we shall get into final thoughts, and then we shall rank him and end the video. So here he is next to Blue Booster. Here he is next to Wingtail. So yeah, there's that. Here he is next to Windmill. I'm just, again, probably the only crossover that actually works. So yeah, you're gonna do that. Here he is next to Bone Shaker. Let's scooch him back a bit. Make sure that whole thing goes off without problem. And finally, here he is next to our previous. Here he is next to Mando. So, yeah. All right. So, where do we get into final thoughts with this guy? Okay. I'm probably going to be the dude who waits for the Seahawks, because I was born and raised in Washington State, and the Seahawks were always the team that we always cheered on. So I'll probably wait until they come out with something called Blue Blitz for this guy. So, or when they come out with the Blue Blitz character for it. So I won't be surprised that when that happens. But again, I don't hate this. I mean, it's still got all of the features for a Transformer that actually look like a Transformer. I mean, if you were to remove the football helmet, and if you were to have told somebody, if you place and you can totally place guns in this guy's hand, it's still the same 5mm port, so it's not like any of those ports are going to go to waste. If you were to pop this into his hand and say, oh yeah, this guy is a different character, they don't know what he turns into yet, then that would be acceptable. And this, again, this works on a shelf. However, when you put the football in the hand, it almost doesn't work. That's where I think the line is a little bit too, maybe not a little too far drawn, but maybe I think football and Transformers aren't exactly the same thing. I don't think so, but, who's to say? So, anyways, where do I rank this guy? Well, given the fact that we have all of this nonsense to deal with, that I mean, I suppose you technically could place this in the backpack here, but there's not a lot of room for it to go. So, like, seriously, you can place this all right there, but you're going to have to place all of this in the back here. And again, this does not give a good look. I don't, okay. You know what I feel like this was? I feel like the helmet came first. The figure out how to transform it came later. And Hasbro, because of their engineering team, because of the previous projects that you can currently see that are my backdrops, they clearly know what they're doing when it comes to engineering. So I don't hate the engineering on it, but I don't appreciate the fact that they just came up with the football helmet. I feel like they came up with the football helmet first, and then this came later. So it's a bit of a mixed bag for me personally. However, this will probably be, you know what? The engineering wasn't bad. I'm not a big fan of, it wasn't bad. I'm not a Steelers fan. I mainly purchased this because it's on clearance. Excuse me. It's on clearance, and I didn't even pay $20 for this guy. So that's the part where I'm like, I can't complain about that part. However, if you are paying normal deluxe class price for these things, I don't think that that's a fair deal. I really don't. These things really should only be sold as you know, a sports memorabilia deal, not as an action figure to collect. So, yeah. But I digress in the fact that they did pull off a good robot mode. They did pull off a really good vehicle mode. So I can't complain too far about that. In that sense, I think I can't give this thing anything less than a 6.5 out of 10. And I think that's fair. I think that's more than fair for this mold. Yeah, this mold particularly, I think that's more than fair. A 6.5 out of 10 is definitely where that's going to sit, because this does not, I can tell you right now, this is probably going to end up in the clearance aisle again before the end of the year. And I'm not going to be surprised when that ends up being the case, because these things they're not for, they're a specific niche market for a specific niche person. I don't think Transformers nerds really care about a football helmet. I think football nerds care about a football helmet, but I don't think that Transformer nerds really care about it. So, on that note, I think that this figure, again, deserves no less than a 6.5 out of 10, and that is my review for the Transformers NFL crossover Steelsmash figure. And this is Thomas Fan 01 saying, do not forget to keep... Sorry, I lost my train of thought there. My bad. Do not forget to turn on that notification bell. Do not forget to hit that subscribe button and that like button. And don't forget to leave a comment down below about what you want to see me do next, as we do some pretty entertaining stuff on this channel. The next thing that I believe we are going to do is we are probably going to be doing this. We have a Let's Build go on, and it's the Lego Ninjago Lego set here. So, yeah. Anyways. This is Thomas Fan 01 saying, do not forget to check out Jordy's Rail videos, Alexander Rothschild, Patrick's Voice Rails, Riveted Railfan, Riveted Reviews, iStar552, Bravely GG, Take Along Productions, Kitten Cat 999, Lemon Lime Studios, Zaga and Oreo, and Corey Tucker from Facebook, and oh, what the hey, we'll throw him out there as well, Winter Night. So do not forget to go check all of them out. And this is Thomas Fan 01 saying, do not forget to keep playing with your toys. Goodbye.